Thank you, brother. We're about to get started in a minute. Just rolling in, letting some folks come in. I usually don't like to hold y'all up for more than 5 minutes. So we about to get this started, ladies and gentlemen. All right. I think I'm ready to get started, y'all. All right. Yo. It's your boy, the insurance junkie, your fiduciary fella, the all-star advisor Alonzo Hall, your social media insurance broker, and I'm here today to weapon tap on your head with more ADH Wealth Solutions. So as you see, ladies and gentlemen, today's title is Upwardly Mobile City Girls and Real Wives. All right? Before I go in, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share. Lastly, to contribute to channel growth or to schedule an appointment with a licensed financial professional, the links are in the description of this video. While I'm at it, I want to send my salutes to y'all who were here from the beginning. Salute and shout out to Mahogany, Roots and MJ, one of my day ones. Shout out to Prince Pierre, put the damn championship on the table. Okay? Shout out to Chance Rogers, a new subscriber. Thank you for coming in. My man, Perfect Timing. What's going on, brother? As you know, that +1. So today what I want to talk to, and actually let's give a congratulations here. So Prince Pierre is actually an insurance extraordinaire, insurance illustrator now, because he's joined the team of ADH Wealth Solutions, and he is now fully licensed and able to assist me with assisting you all. So as you guys know, the empire is not created on its own. And when I came into this space of black YouTube, specifically black male YouTube, my purpose was multifold, just like a guy by the name of Alan Roger Curry. He came here to sell books. I came here to sell financial services and to grow my empire. Part of growing my empire is having other brothers like Prince Pierre join the team, and young ladies. So today we're going to focus on the young ladies. Okay, so I want to share my screen with y'all because I'm not going to curse and yell at the ladies like I do at the men. The reason I curse and yell at the men, because we're men and we can take that type of stuff. Sometimes the women can't take that type of stuff, or if they can, I'm not the one to give it to them. Maybe it's their man or their husband that needs to give them that rough love. So, as you see here, ladies and gentlemen, I'm in my illustration software. And you'll see I have City Girl Keisha, who's 36 years old. Now, we're starting her with a term life insurance policy because all too often in the black community specifically, what is something that we face all too often? Well, we have a lot of single mothers. And with these single mothers, that leaves generational poverty because automatically you don't have an inheritance from your father, which is why a lot of young ladies expect young men to have all this kind of money. And I'm not going to be going long today because I got some stuff to do. So this might be 20 minutes. But I'm going to touch a very, very important subjects while I'm in here. Okay? So what you want to look at as ladies, I have a young lady who is one of my clients. She was struggling to pay $17 a month for a $250,000 policy. God forbid she died. She had 3 kids. What were those kids going to do but become wards of the state? I'll give you a better example. My brother, who's adopted, I was on the phone with him when he found his mother dead in the bed. We were 12 and 13 years old at the time. I don't think his mother had a lick of life insurance. Had I not been on the phone with him, he and his sister would probably be in the streets. Because there was nobody there to take care of them, nobody there to help them. Rael, what's going on, bro? There was nobody there to take care of them, nobody there to help them, financially or otherwise. So now they would have been stuck. So women, if you're going to complain about the men, make sure that you dot all your I's, cross all your T's. Because see, what people didn't teach you is if you're going to be all independent and a boss babe, then insurance is one of those things that you absolutely need. So let's continue here, right? So we got City Girl Keisha. Hold on, let me make sure I'm showing the screen. Yes. So we've got City Girl Keisha, right? We're going to do her a term policy. And we're not going to do this small stuff. We're going to do a $2 million policy. And let's say Keisha is working out and on her physical, she's drinking the flat tummy tea. She doesn't have a BBL. She's doing it naturally, which is what a lot of men like. We would prefer you actually go to the gym, not a BBL. Because the BBL, see, what y'all fail to realize is the BBL makes you look good, but it's artificial. What do I mean by that? You don't have the breathing to last rounds with me. See, I speak a little bit vulgar than your average person. I'm more like Donald Trump. So let's take a look if you had Preferred Plus Health. And this is just for term life insurance. Because as we know, we got people like Taz who run around talking about femicide, right? And how there's a woman deleted every 5 seconds or whatever, right? Taz Exclusives always talking about femicide. And there's a bunch of you, and what's that girl's name who got taken off? Cynthia G always talking about, well, the black man is killing the black woman left and right. Well, if you, black woman, know that the black man is supposedly killing your ass left and right, you're left home alone with these children, yet you don't take it on your head to be responsible. For $580 a year at the age of 36, you could get $2 million of death benefit. Yes, it's term. Yes, it will only last you for 10 years. But what does $580 a year break down to monthly? Keisha. Because I know a bunch of Keishas, like I said. There's a damn Keisha who be on with her drug dealer, fake-ass, thug-ass baby daddy, who he'll pull the AK on another Negro, but let a police officer with a badge and a 9mm run up on him. He'll put that AK down. So you fake thugs need to shut the fuck up. But the Keisha will go ahead and get with him, and she'll go eat pineapple fried chicken and go to the Cat Williams show, but won't pay $580 a year because she I need an apartment. You're living in an apartment in Section 8 with your sister, chick. So you can't pay $50 a month to make sure that when your baby daddy flips on you and beats you to deletion, according to Taz and Cynthia G, you can't pay $50 a month to make sure that your kids don't start from ground zero. They would have $2 million. Right? But nah, that's not responsible. Even if you do a 20-year term, $900 a year. What's 900 divided by 12? Let's see. 900 divided by 12. $75 a month. So for $75, let me tell y'all the shit I have seen. And this is why when y'all say that femicide stuff, I gotta take it with a grain of salt, Keisha. Let's see what we got here. Bronze Flat Power, what's going on, brother? Taz should know all the females he has beaten. Right? I'm going to tell y'all a real life story. When I used to own an all-state insurance agency in Brooklyn, in East New York, I had a young black girl who was a hairdresser. She had her own salon. She came to me and was like, oh, I need to get car insurance immediately. I have 2 Mercedeses. Damn, girl, you got money. What you do? Oh, I own a hair salon. Okay. Well, let's sit down and talk. Yeah, I got a 10-year-old kid, but I got to hurry up and get this car insurance because my boyfriend, who's driving a Mercedes, who doesn't have his driver's license, will kill me if he finds out I ain't got car insurance. $1,500 a month for car insurance. I said, chick, if you get fucked up by this Negro for real, if you get beaten and femicided, you need to make sure that that 10-year-old has some cash. Let me tell you, I used to work with a young lady who worked at Primerica. I hung my license with Primerica just so I could have somewhere to hang my license because I was working a regular job. I wouldn't recommend going with Primerica at all because you can get better price term policies in a lot of other places. However, me and my young lady colleague went to this other young lady's house. Again, another young black woman, another Keisha. And this is why I'm calling y'all city girl Keisha. Even the upwardly mobile black women. Because if you're going to blame Pookie and Ray Ray, you can't sleep with Pookie and Ray Ray. Even though Pookie and Ray Ray come to you with a better plan than the average so-called black man. Because at least Pookie and Ray Ray says, hey girl, I'm going to flip your tax refund. It's a bad plan, but it's a plan. Often, the regular guys, the Theo Waff, even though he makes $500,000 a year, doesn't come to you with a plan other than submit to me. So I understand your issue there. But also don't think that Pookie and Ray Ray are apt to protect you. They're apt to get you into some shit. I've had Pookie and Ray Ray run up on me. I got shot 5 times once when Pookie and Ray Ray ran up on me. Pookie and Ray Ray have run up on me on other occasions, and they've caught some other situations that I won't speak about here. But let's go back to this policy. So this young lady was willing to spend $1,500 a month on car insurance so her boyfriend, who did not have a driver's license, could drive a Mercedes-Benz that she was paying for. Meanwhile, she says, because a lot of you black women say, my kids are my everything. How much of your everything are your kids to you when you're willing to spend $1,500 a month to ensure a Benz that a motherfucker who's not supposed to be driving can drive? Yet for your 10-year-old boy, when this piece of shit femicides you, now your family has to put together a GoFundMe. I recently got sent a GoFundMe for a friend of mine's child. It hurt my heart to let him know I'm not donating to your GoFundMe, brother. And unfortunately, your child fell out in the streets. Right? So now City Girl Keisha has a few more responsibilities. Car insurance won't cover a non-licensed driver. Exactly, David. Oh, let me see. Yeah. David, do you have it? Yeah, okay, you have a wrench. I wanted to make sure David had a wrench. David, make sure you drop your link to your YouTube channel in here as well as your blog, because even though I have great information. So David Kinder, as you guys can see, is obviously a white guy. However, when we first met, he explained something to me. He sent me an article from Yahoo Finance that explained that financial professionals of his caliber, when they find financial professionals that are white, that are of his caliber, which is MDRT, which is the top 1% of financial professionals across 70 countries, when they find generally black financial professionals who are similar caliber, it helps them and the industry as a whole for them to help support the black financial professional. Why? Because of situations like Keisha. We end up in situations as black Americans, business connections, what's going on? We end up in situations as black Americans where we don't have the access to a lot of those wealthy things, or a lot of wealth. So when I came out in the industry, I didn't have the support of my family. You know when I'm getting the support of my family? Now that I have multi-million-dollar clients. Now that I have people paying $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, $100,000 a year in their life insurance, and I have no interest in giving someone a $50 a month policy. Now my family wants to come to me. Now, luckily, I have agents who are newer who are working under me. So it's my charge to take agents regardless of their ethnicity. But obviously, I am black. I want to help black folks too. But I always tell you, I don't care if you're blind, crippled, or crazy. I want you represent dollar signs to me. But make sure you guys go subscribe to David, especially if you're interested in actually getting into the financial services industry, because he's a wealth of knowledge. A wealth of knowledge. Trust me. He and I have conversations all the time. And as you can see, he has some letters behind his name. David, actually, even though I didn't pass the CRC, my principal, Charles, did pass. It took him a few tries. So I'm going to go for it again now that I know what I need to work on. And I'm going to get my CRC designation so I can be like you and have some letters behind my name. I am going to go after Sandy's RFC. I'm probably going to go after the MRFC, which is Registered Financial Consultant or Master Registered Financial Consultant. And as you guys see here, ladies and gentlemen, David has the big dog. So most regular consumers know about CFP. What you don't know about CFPs is usually they are not licensed in insurance. They are just registered investment advisors. They generally just carry their Series 65. So what they can do is charge you a fee to say, hey, this investment or this insurance policy is or isn't good for your interest. However, they always dislike anything that charges that pays a commission, which is kind of odd because they technically charge a fee. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So, like David said, car insurance doesn't cover anything. Actually, it does. I'll tell you what I tell people all the time. When you're driving around with car insurance, those limits of liability. What you're telling your family is, fuck my family. I'm driving around with life insurance for if I crash into somebody else and kill them in a car. When you have 25, 50, 10, which is New York State minimums, that's State Farm, Geico, whoever will pay up to $25,000 per person in the incident, /50, meaning up to a total of $50,000 per incident, /10, meaning up to a total of $10,000 for property damage. So what that means is while you're driving around, if you smack someone and kill them, you got $25,000 worth of life insurance from State Farm to give to their family. But fuck your family. That's what you're saying. So you have to be cognizant of what you're doing. Now, I'm going to pivot this into car insurance, and I'm going to start talking a lot more about car insurance as well, or property and casualty as us professionals know it as. But I want to talk more about car insurance to you guys because there's a lot of stuff that people get wrong there as well. Number one is your limits of liability. If you want to have a low premium that stays level however long you're with the insurance carrier that you're with, or if you want to shop around and get cheaper rates, you need to be what's considered a responsible insured. We should also have that in life insurance. But what is a responsible insured? A responsible insured is someone who's driving around with at least 100, 350 in limits of liability. Why is that? Because now you're saying, hey, I'm not going to leave the insurance company open to frivolous lawsuits. I'll tell you why. I went to the emergency room once with muscle spasms in my left arm. They prescribed me 1-800 milligram Motrin and charged me $1,000. So do you think $25,000 is going to be sufficient enough for anybody who's in a car accident? Exactly. A responsible insured at least has a current driver's license, right? It's funny. Speaking of family and friends, I didn't have my driver's license for quite some time, so I didn't have a car. When I moved here to Connecticut, I had family like, how you doing this financial services stuff and you ain't got a car? I was like, because I don't have my driver's license. I got my driver's license last year and bought a Benz. Now people are like, oh my God. No, I didn't save up for that. That was from one transaction that I was able to purchase that car. Now, I financed it. I could have purchased it in cash. And no, I'm not bragging, but I'm speaking to you in terms of the prices or the income that you can make here. Car insurance everywhere is high. But let's get back to Keisha and the upwardly mobile city girls and real wives, right? So again, I'm going to exit this solo layout, right? And I'm starting with term insurance because you'll hear me and other financial professionals who will bash companies like Primerica for selling term insurance. And actually, Dave did a great video on it, the love-hate relationship, right? I love and hate Primerica. Why do I love them? I love them because they get most Americans who are unfamiliar with insurance in general to get life insurance, right? Hey, you said I'm flexing with my car. Okay, you can definitely have my autograph. And I'm sorry, I meant to get back to you. Let's do a show this week. I'd actually like to bring you on to my show for Friday Night Financials, or I might do a midweek as well. And David, I'd love to bring you on as for the show as well. What I do is I try to bring on professionals from a multitude of fields and have them just speak about, you know, who, what, when, where, why they got into the business and so on and so forth. So if you're getting a 20-year term, again, it's $75 a month. If you're getting a 30-year term, right? $1,440 divided by 12. So that's $120 a month. Like I said, I have a young lady who lost her mother, lost her father. Her baby's father is, I don't know what. And my mother actually said, look, my son is in insurance. I think you should talk to him. She talked to me. I talked to her the first time. I need to call you back. I talked to her the second time. I'm looking for an apartment, though she's living in a Section 8 apartment with her sister. Yeah, I'll put people's business on blast. Yeah, that sounds great. Well, David, I know you're probably in Tennessee currently, right? So definitely I know how to reach you, David. We'll definitely do something soon. So for $120 a month, which is less than what you ladies spend on your hair and nails, you can have this protection for you, right? Now, let's talk about people like the city girls, right? Or what's this girl, Diamond the Body, right? She got this song, What You Want? What You Want? What'd she say? I fuck with a rich nigga named Alonzo. Well, see, she doesn't fuck with this rich nigga named Alonzo, because if she did, she'd have life insurance, because she'd be like, hey, daddy, I need you to pay my life insurance premium, not buy me a Birkin bag. And she'd probably have me pay her life insurance premium on a permanent life insurance policy so she can get assets. It's in about 8 or 9 days. Okay. So she can actually have something that's an asset. So if she wants a Birkin bag, she can buy her own Birkin bag. If she wants a house, she can buy her own house. But see, what Keisha really needs to do is also get Sugar Daddy to buy a policy on himself and make her the beneficiary. That's City Girl Keisha, and that's the upwardly mobile wife. Okay? Why does the upwardly mobile wife need that? Well, you've heard of me mention things like buy-sell agreements. What is a buy-sell agreement? It's where the owners of businesses get a life insurance policy on each other. Now, I had a situation where I just wrote a policy on a current existing client of mine, and then he said, well, I want to get a policy on my wife. We're having more kids, so on and so forth, so she's not working right now. She's a housewife. My underwriting, which this is why insurance companies need to have their underwriters or look at their guidelines, because they're unrealistic. I had to explain to this underwriter, hey, she was like, how did you come up with the premium? And how did you come up with the face amount? And why is the face amount more than what the husband has? Now, they're thinking of, oh, maybe the husband will off his wife, which, look, Today, that type of stuff can't happen. Maybe in the 70s, you could go ahead and do insurance fraud like that. But today, there's so much investigation and everything, it'd really be impossible with forensics to do those type of things. So why does she have a higher death benefit than her husband, yet she doesn't have a job? Well, this is, and I'm going to mention this to all financial professionals if you're watching, or prospective financial professionals. Why do you think it's important for the housewife to actually likely have a higher death benefit, or at least as much of a death benefit as the breadwinner? I'm not going to say housewife because that's sexist, but when we're looking at the upwardly mobile wives and we're looking at the husband and traditional values, generally the husband works, the housewife stays home. So why should your or in same-sex marriages, the wife goes to work and the other wife stays home, or the husband goes to work and the other husband stays home, whatever. But when your partner stays home and they take care of the house and the kids and the plants and the bills, well, if you have children, you get up every day at 5 o'clock in the morning, you go work out before, you got to run to work, you come home, you take your shower. When you get out of the shower, breakfast is done. 7:30, you run and you go to work. You don't have to worry about getting the kids dressed, getting the kids lunch ready, making sure the kids' homework is done. See, childcare is expensive. Making sure the kids get to school. Well, now, if your housewife is gone, you have to change your entire schedule. Now you got to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go do your job, come home, take a shower, finish your shower, go make breakfast, wake up the kids, feed them breakfast, make sure they're, CHEs, Chief Household Executives. I wish that was an option on the job class when you're applying for life insurance. David, as you know, I'm based out of the state of New York. We have Regulation 187, which is one of the most horrible things that has happened to the insurance industry for lackluster producers. In my opinion, it's frustrating because you get situations like this where they're like, hey, how did you come up with the face amount? And I'm like, because if the housewife dies, the husband now has to change his life. Childcare is expensive, right? And general rule of thumb, you want to have about 20 times your income. It says per Investopedia, according to 2019 data from salary.com, if you're a stay-at-home parent and pay for your services, you'd be looking at a median annual salary of $178,000. Wow. Yeah, how much is a homemaker worth? That's actually, thank you, David, for that article. So these are the things that are very, very important for women to understand. Again, like I said, you got Taz talking about femicide, right? You've got guys who are going overseas and not marrying as much here in the States. And this is across all color lines. I hear Asian guys talking about it, white dudes talking about it, black dudes talking about it, all over here in the States. Right? There was something yesterday where it said the birth rate is going down. If we want the economy to grow, if we don't want to be in a Great Depression, then we need to be having these younger folks have more kids. Because right now, the average age, like everybody is aging out. People are in their 60s. And they're collecting Social Security. Let's see, Rael said, yeah, when people say homemakers don't work, they sound silly, especially if they clean like our grandmothers did. My great-grandma cleaned the house from top to bottom. Yes. Man, listen, Rael, let me tell you like this. My wife cooks, cleans, organizes stuff, does the clothes, washes the dishes, stuff I won't do. If I had to pay somebody for that, I checked out Mary Maids. I'd ask if they work outside the home, not do you work. See, I do ask that, but in one of my carrier's application, David, you literally have to put an occupation or they won't let you continue. And I do e-apply with all my apps. So again, it's really just a New York thing. But with Regulation BI, you're going to see a lot of changes in this industry, which if you're like myself, if you're like David, if you're like Prince Pierre, you welcome the changes in this industry, because what's going to happen is a lot of people who are doing a lot of harm to the average American are not going to be able to do that harm to you guys anymore. Because to do something like a simple final expense, I have to do things like check your risk tolerance in the state of New York. I have to find out what your familiarity with investing is, with mutual funds, with cash and cash equivalents, with stocks, with bonds, with annuities, with life insurance. Do you have 1 year or more of experience? Do you have less than 1 year of experience? But now, let's continue. So, Keisha, being upwardly mobile, needs to get that buy-sell agreement. And it's also something you want to get as a permanent insurance policy. So let's see. I'm going to do the Value Plus Whole Life, right? So a Value Plus Whole Life is a cheaper form of whole life insurance, right? So we're going to do, again, $2 million, right? We're going to quote a Preferred Plus, right? Now, if I preview this, generally you won't get quoted Preferred Plus unless you're in great health. The reason I'm doing this is just to show the illustration. I generally quote everybody standard and then let them go up from there. So this one, ladies, is $20,000 a year, right? $20,000 a year in your policy. It doesn't have huge cash value in the first years. After 10 years, he's paid almost 200 grand in it, but you have a $2 million death benefit. You've also got cash value of $136,000, right? After 20 years, he's paid $381,000 into your policy. You have a $2.1 million death benefit. So should you die, your kids, your whoever you decide to leave this money to will get $2.1 million. Plus, you have $412,000 of cash value available to you. That's money you can borrow from. And since your sugar daddy got this for you, you are all the way on the come up. That's for the city girl. Now, the traditional real wife, maybe you are concerned with a prenup because your husband is like, I want you to sign a prenup. You should sign a prenup. You should also tell him, I want you to get divorce insurance. He's going to be like, what the hell is that? Divorce insurance means you're going to get a life insurance policy, and just like when we close on your mortgage, it's going to have an amortization schedule. So I can tell if I leave you in 20 years, if I want to go sleep with the pool boy, I only am going to get $412,000 out of the deal. Not half of your assets, sir. That's how the prenuptial agreement is going to be. And I'll know exactly where I can leave you. So I'll know, I got to wait until I'm 66 to leave him so I can get nearly $1 million. Now, if I set this up, because again, people talk about things like infinite banking. Infinite banking can be done with traditional whole life insurance. I don't like traditional whole life insurance for infinite banking. Okay? And we're going to do 250. And let's actually we're going to have him pay an additional $10,000 a year, salute broke genius, into the policy, right? Because I'm going to show you that infinite banking can also be done with traditional whole life insurance. I, again, am not a person who likes traditional whole life for infinite banking. But, again, this is a major issue with our industry. So I added, remember, the prior one, this one, he's only paying $20,000 a year into the policy. And folks, I want you to get more used to paying multiple thousands of dollars into your life insurance if you really want it to be an asset for you. You keep looking at price instead of value. Because again, 381 to 412, right? Let's just do some math. So over the course of 20 years, he paid 381,381,800. But we subtract the cash value that you have, which is 412,113. So if we do math according to the calculator, like savings minus debt says, because don't trust me, trust the calculator. So according to math, you paid negative $30,313. So that means that over the course of the last 20 years, you weren't paying for life insurance. The life insurance company was paying you to make sure that when you die, they have to give your family $2 million. See, when you're taught how this stuff actually works, like the wealthy people know, it becomes a whole nother dynamic. Thank you, David. Like you said, if we could call these things what they truly are, which is wealth contracts, people would be lined up to buy life insurance. Right? Now, this is a value plus whole life. You guys don't understand the difference in that. Financial professionals will understand the difference between multiple types of whole life. This one is one that's set up to be cheaper. But I could set up one that is made to grow. So I'm going to do a universal. Now, I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that you want to be careful about, let's do target premium here. You want to be careful about variable life insurance. Variable life insurance is very, very dangerous. I'll just put it to you like that. So, let's do two scenarios. Again, this is City Girl Keisha or a traditional wife having her husband pay for her life insurance, because as a husband, you ought to be doing that anyway. Why? Because you need to protect your investment. And if you found this girl, this woman, not City Girl Keisha, but maybe Keisha, the upwardly mobile wife, worthy of being your wife, then you need to set something up properly. Now, if you'll notice here, it's only $821 a month, right? For her life insurance policy. But this is just target premium. So this is basically $10,000 a year. So over the course of 10 years, he spent $98,000. But if you should cancel the policy, you'll actually get back $80,000. So technically, he only spent $18,000. So let's look over the course of 20 years. He spent $197,201. But again, and this is why when you're talking to people about investing, you need to understand the time value of money. The average time horizon of an investment is 20 years. So when people tell you buy term and invest the difference, what they're telling you is shut the fuck up and give me your money and get the feels like you're doing something, but you have no clue what I'm doing, nor do I have a clue what I'm doing, but I'm going to take your money. Right? Let's do simple math. Again, don't believe me, like savings minus debt says. Believe the calculator, right? 197,201 subtract 244,338. That's negative $47,137. That means that over the course of the last 20 years, you did not pay for life insurance. The insurance company paid you. So let's do math. 47,137. 47,137. And let's divide that by 20. So that means that the insurance company paid you $2,356.85 a year to make sure that when you die, your family gets $2 million. Now, this is based on target premium, right? Right now, I'm giving out secrets. What I'm going to do now is they got a long-term no lapse now. Oh, snap. We got some new stuff in our policies. Okay. So now I'm going to do it for a maximum non-met, meaning that it will be treated different. It's a replacement tactic, not a planning strategy. The complete phrase is buy term, invest the difference with me. Very true, David. But it's very rare that most people even invest the difference. Most of the time, they just buy term and spend the rest. So now this is a $2 million death benefit. And this one is $2,200 a month, right? So over the course of the first 10 years, you've spent $269,548. But at the end of that first 10 years, you've got an account value of, well, you break even if you cancel the policy, because if you cancel the policy, you'll actually get $200 more than you put into it. But your leverage now is $292,000. You also, when you're looking at this, want to ask your financial professional, what is my accumulation value versus my surrender value? The accumulation is what you have to borrow from. The surrender value is what you have if you cancel the policy. So over the course of 20 years, you've put in $539,000. But if you cancel the policy, you'll get back $835,000. So again, if we just do math, 539,095 and subtract 835,562, that's $296,467. So 296,467, right? Divided by 20. So they paid you $14,823.35 a year to make sure that when you die, your family gets $2 million. Oh, and I always generally limit pay my policies. So as time's going, you're 66. Now you've got $1.7 million. You've only put $781,000 into there. So you came up $1 million. Right? Again, you're going to have to sit with a financial professional who can actually do this and manipulate the numbers properly in your favor. I tell my clients all the time, you will make me rich, but only if it's more beneficial for you. So if I do one quick thing and do something a little bit different, click one quick button. Now, this is more velocity banking, not infinite banking. I'm starting to understand the difference. And why I'm not going to call you an old timer, Dave, but you've got more years in the industry than me. Why a lot of seasoned guys prefer traditional whole life, mainly because of the guarantees. I still prefer index universal because of the flexibility. So this one is $6,500 a month. So over the first 10 years, you've spent $789,000. But if you cancel the policy, you'll get back $915,000. Your death benefit is also increased to nearly $3 million. Over the course of 20 years, you've paid into it $1.5 million. 2.6 is what you've got. Now, these numbers seem astronomical, but let's be honest, Black community. How many? I know girls who were born in the 1990s who went to Brazil to get a BBL so that their behind can look like the anthrax or the thorax of an ant. They spend much money on nails, silk presses, hair, eyelashes, trips to Dubai, vacations with their homegirl, quasi-investments like crypto, spending money on an Infiniti or a Nissan Maxima or an AMG Mercedes, and they don't even know what an AMG is about. But they just know it's the most expensive one. Right? So these are some of the things that, again, your man should be looking out for not only your best interest, but his best interest. Right? How many times do we see these boss babes? Oh, I'm worth $10 million. Men don't care how much you're worth. Men don't care how much you make. But if you want to be an asset to him truly, then you need to be egging him on. Hey, husband, get this life insurance policy on me, because if I die, it's an asset to you. And when I live, it's an asset to the both of us. I'm not going to talk about how you can use these things as collateral assignments so you can leverage your money. Right? I'm not going to go there yet. I want to get to a few more things. Let me just close some of these windows out. Okay. So again, let's see here. Let's take a look at if Keisha doesn't get a UL. But let's do, again, a $2 million policy. But let's do a limited pay, because I don't think somebody should pay for life insurance for their whole life. $41. I'm going to schedule it. All right. So this again is just ask Shar what's going on. I can't believe you don't have a wrench. Hold on. Okay. Now, this is going to be a MEC, which is a modified endowment contract, because I have the insured paying too much money into it. Right? It is a 10-year policy, but I put in the first 5 years to pay an additional $10,000 to create an infinite banking policy. So, first year, your initial premium is $125,000, right? And again, this is only being paid for 10 years. It's a $2 million death benefit. At the end of 10 years, you've paid $1.2 million into it, but you've got almost the same amount of cash value, surrender value. You've also got a $2.4 million death benefit. As time goes, you don't pay another dime. But as it continues to grow. This is the power of traditional whole life for infinite banking. And oh my God, you might be changing my mind, David, as we go, that I might start. Well, I like Doug Andrews with the laser fund, but the laser fund I call it an opportunity fund. So I think I'm going to change what I call infinite banking. I'm not going to call infinite banking with an IUL infinite banking. I'm just going to call it an opportunity fund. Where infinite banking, as I'm looking and illustrating, I can see why you're more comfortable doing traditional whole life. Plus the death benefit guarantees. Right? So like you see here, these zeros, the non-guaranteed basically means the insurance company is insolvent, ladies and gentlemen. So the insurance company isn't making any money. That generally won't happen. I'm not seeing why this is a MEC. I only did 5 years of overpayment by 10,000. So I'm not seeing why this is a MEC. But my software says it's a MEC, so they know the IRS guidelines. But as you see, it continues to grow. So as a wife, this is one of the things you need to be nagging your husband. Hey, husband, I need to get life insurance. Hey, sugar daddy, I need to get life insurance. There you go. Using a cash value policy as a growth fund or an opportunity fund. Exactly. You know, and I gotta go get my securities licenses again, or now. So I'm gonna do the SIE, and I really just want to do the 65, but then I can't sell the product, so I can only charge for advice. Though my broker dealer does allow you to just hold the 65, so you can be a registered rep. I don't know if Mass Mutual does, but my other carrier does. Mass Mutual right now is where I'm putting my variable products, but I have so many clients that suddenly they have the risk tolerance and their annual income is 500,000 plus. So I'm starting to get a more affluent client who can actually talk about investing. This is another thing, ladies and gentlemen. Oftentimes when financial professional, they can't talk to you about investing because you can't afford it, right? The average person who can't afford $834 a month, which is $10,000 a year on life insurance, has no business talking about investing. But you have all these fly by night, oh, I'm Wall Street Trapper, Stock Mo, Stocks with Larry, all this other BS on YouTube and TikTok who aren't actually licensed. And they're telling you a bunch of false narratives so that they can get your money. Right? You never hear David telling you buy term, invest the rest. David will tell you, oh, you're interested in investing? Cool. Let's have an actual appointment because I need to make sure that you can actually invest. Why? Because I've had people who have come to me and be like, oh, I'm looking to invest. I'm 58 years old and I got $100,000 and I want some money back in 2 years. Sir, you get out of my face. I'm not taking your 100,000. It's not worth my time, energy, or effort. I don't make a substantial amount of money off of $100,000. $100,000 in the investment world is pretty much nothing, right? I put it in a retirement account for you. The average retirement account commission is between 5 and 10%. I happen to be on the low end at 5%. So you put $100,000 in with me, I'm only making $5,000. It's not really exciting to me. You put $1 million in, I'm only making $50,000. Right? And then anything above $1 million, I have to get home office approval. This is not you as the customer's concern, so don't be worried about it. But I also have financial professionals on watching. So those are things that you want to ask. One of the questions that, and I'm going to shout out Tom Love for this. I actually had a guy who I was at the bank and I was taking some money out of my savings account because I had to wait for a commission to come and I needed some gas money for my car. And I was like, man, I don't know why I bought this Benz. They really mean all money gone. And he was like, oh, you should buy American. The job you might save may be your own. I was like, bro, American cars are trash right now. And pretty much all they make is SUVs or pickup trucks. I don't like pickup trucks, except that, well, I do like pickup trucks, but I want the Mercedes X-Class. I'm a Mercedes enthusiast. So the Mercedes X-Class is likely going to be the new G-Wagon. The only reason the G-Wagon is expensive and popular is because it was a crappy military utility vehicle. And then about 40 years ago, Americans were like, oh, it's a car you can't have in America. We'll spend the extra money to import it. And then everybody started doing that. And David, what's going on? Miss Queen, what's up? But now the X-Class is the pickup truck for Mercedes, which they stopped selling in the U.S. in 2019. You're going to start seeing people import it. It's kind of a thing that people with money do, is we buy stuff that we know other people can't buy. You notice how I put myself in there. I ain't got a lot of money, but I got a couple dollars. But so again, as an upwardly mobile city girl or as a real wife, you should be harassing your husband, making sure not only he has life insurance on him, but life insurance on you. Right? I have a relative. She just had a baby, just got married. I've been harassing her baby's father, now husband, to get life insurance on himself. He does not want to get a term life insurance policy. I'm explaining to him, look, sir, I understand you don't want term life insurance because you've heard me speak negatively about term life insurance. But you are not in a position where you can currently afford a permanent life insurance policy. So you get a big term life insurance policy while your new wife and baby girl are very young. Otherwise, you and I are going to have a problem, sir. Ladies, you need to tell men, I will not sign your prenup unless you have life insurance. Because if you die along the way, I need to make sure that I can continue my lifestyle. Good job, David. You definitely want to have life insurance. Now, you also want to make sure that it's properly purchased, or properly covered on you. So I want to show you guys one more thing. Let's do this. I'm going to close these out. We're going to do this. Life, not Kaplan. Life happens, right? I want to take you guys to this website called lifehappens.org. So how to say I love you. Love is scary, sweaty, sappy, often overwhelming, definitely brave. It can be hard to tell them how you feel. Dropping your teenager at school and yelling goodbye so everyone can hear, embarrassing. Letting them know you got life insurance, mom of the year. Now, it's ironic that I was talking to ladies today and I decided to go to this, and this is what they bring up. The next time you struggle with I love you, let them know you got life insurance instead. Now, let's do this, because many Americans are, they do have a lot of good riders still. What you have, David, is you have a lot of people who don't like to give you the riders, because the rider increases the cost of your policy, but it also drastically increases the value of your policy. So there's a few calculators here. So first, I'm going to go to the life insurance needs calculator. Please, ladies and gentlemen, before you sit down with a financial professional, I don't care if it's me, I don't care if it's Mr. Kinder, I don't care if it's Prince Pierre, I don't care if it's your buddy from Primerica, I don't care if it's the guy from Prudential, I don't care who it is. You have to make sure you know how much insurance you have. My job has life insurance on me. If I get injured out here, my parents will get a decent payout. So your job has life insurance on you to pay your job. That's something called dead peasant insurance, or COLI, corporate-owned life insurance. Right? Let me show you something about that. I'm going to pull up an article that I did. Well, not that I did, but I read. Before I go to the other stuff. Because you want to make sure that what the fuck do you mean what happened, bro? The dude, what is this? What happened with this policy? I'll get back to that. So I don't want you to take my word for it. I want you to actually see it. So this is an article written by Dr. Michael Ralph. He's currently at Howard University. He's now he was at New York University, but now he's at Howard University, right? Michael Ralph at nyu.edu. Just so you see now, I'll show you Dr. Michael Ralph. Right? He's now at Howard, Dr. Michael Ralph. And he wrote this article. Let me just open this so you can see him. So he's a doctor now, professor and chair. He's faculty at the College of Arts and Sciences. And now he's michael.ralph at howard.edu as opposed to michael.ralph at nyu.edu. I think it's a standard thing in the maritime industry. Right? So it says, Dr. Ralph research integrates political science, economics, history, and medical anthropology through an explicit focus on debt, slavery, insurance, forensics, and incarceration. He is currently at work on 2 books that center on slavery, insurance, and incarceration. The reason why life insurance was created, and this is the reason why black folk, you need to get that victim mentality bullshit out of your head, like 12 Years a Slave in Roots, where they was beating slaves. That would be the stupidest thing on earth. You don't see them whipping LeBron James, do you? LeBron James is basically athletics is modern day slavery. It's no longer slavery. But that's what it was back in the day, quote unquote slavery, because you needed the biggest, strongest, fastest. It wasn't really that bad. Well, I'm not going to say it wasn't that bad. It was bad because you weren't voluntarily doing it. But the reality is it created economics and industry. And black people stopped the bullshit because if we had the power at the time, we'd still be doing it. I'm a realist. This article examines the way post-bellum genres of disability, race, and credit debt shapes the emergence of the U.S. insurance and life insurance industries. Okay? So again, here's a book from Josiah C. Knott in 1847. In life, we are in the midst of death, and a day or an hour may paralyze the hand which feeds the helpless. In a country like ours, where with untrammeled energies and eager grasp we are pressing along the road which leads to fortune and greatness, we sometimes travel too fast, and great commercial convulsions are inevitable consequences, which bring ruin on individuals, the most prudent and cautious. What's up, Cherie? 1 second here. Take a person so situated with the uncertainty of life hanging over him, and how much more cheerfully he would toil on. Cherie, I need to talk to you about closing more mortgages. I've got some programs that I think we can partner on. Could he say, come what may, my life is insured, and my wife and children are sure of something to save them from want? Again, this is written by an academic, Dr. Michael Ralph. Like I said, he's no longer at New York University. He's at Howard University. Let's look at the second quote. As long as the Negro is sound and worth more than the amount of the insured, self-interest will prompt the owner to preserve the life of the slave. Pause. So this is why I say things like 12 Years a Slave, things like Roots and all this, where all you see is the slaves getting beaten and beaten to death. Well, maybe that's a false narrative. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but we're looking at something here from Statistics of the Southern Slave Plantation, written by Josiah C. Knott in November of 1847. He says, as long as the Negro is sound and worth more than the amount of the insured, self-interest will prompt the owner to preserve the life of the slave. But if the slave became unsound and there is little prospect of perfect recovery, the underwriters cannot expect fair play. The insurance money is worth more than the slave, and the latter is regarded rather in the light of a superannuated horse. What does that mean? That means LeBron James did not get traded to the Golden State Warriors recently because they knew LeBron James still had some gas in the tank. I don't want to compare slavery to sports, but there's a lot of similarities. Am I saying slavery was a good thing? It was unfortunate. It was terrible. Yes, it may have been bad, but it created the country that I live in and I love. America. Fuck yeah. Now, this is why, David, I'm going to highlight your comment here where you're talking about the insurance from your job. So, on August 25th, 2011, NBC and other news outlets reported a scheme that U.S. presidential candidate Rick Perry, then governor of Texas, had concocted in 2003 to take out life insurance policies on retiring public school teachers through the Swiss financial firm UBS. The rationale behind Perry's indecent proposal? These senior citizens had a high statistical probability to die within the next decade. When they did, the government of Texas could turn a profit. So we all know Michael Moore, the guy who created the Bowling for Columbine, Fahrenheit 9/11 documentaries. Well, Michael Moore, let me increase this so you guys can read along with me. Michael Moore examines a similar practice in his 2009 documentary Capitalism, A Love Story, through the devastating revelation that a number of Fortune 500 companies, including Bank of America, Citibank, McDonnell Douglas, Hershey, Nestle, Walmart, Procter & Gamble, and American Express have made use of what industry insiders call corporate-owned life insurance, or COLI policies, more commonly known as dead peasant insurance. Well, let's look here. When Daniel L. Johnson died of cancer, Moore tells us that Amity Bank, because he was like, oh, I'm good, I don't need no life insurance. I got $5 million from my job. Amity Bank made more than $5 million on policies that it had taken out in his name that were never shared with his dependents. So don't shit on yourself thinking your insurance from your job is going to take care of anything. It's going to take care of your job. And David just answered your question there, Miss Queen. Yes, you can have, a person can have more policies. Yes, janitor or dead peasant insurance, Cherie. But yes, you can have more, multiple people can have policies on a person as long as there's insurable interest. So now I want to go back to this calculator because in fact, one more thing. Wait, let me see where it is. Historians have reached an apparent consensus about the U.S. life insurance industry, and it did not take root until the 1840s. Well, yeah, they're 162 or a key employee. They have to be disclosed through 101J. Yes, so he's talking tax code now, ladies and gentlemen. Baby mamas should have life insurance on their baby daddies, but they don't. And I'm going to show you why. Hold on. Where is it? It's in here. And this has a lot to do with stuff like our entertainment industry. Here we go. Ice insured. Fuck life insurance, says rapper Rick Ross. Right? I got my ice insured. What? Fuck life insurance. So stuff like that, right? Who borrowed his stage name from a stage persona from a notorious trafficker by the same name in Live Fast, Die Young, as he asserts that his jewelry is more valuable and thus more worthy of scrutinization than his own life. That makes no sense. But how many folks are doing this? So insurable interest would mean that Miss Queen would be, for example, like Rick Ross is probably lying to people. Oh, all rappers have life insurance. All rappers get a COLI policy. That's why you see a lot of rappers around November get murdered. Well, here David was about to answer it. So insurable interest means there's a relationship of some kind between the insured and policy owner. The other is STOLI, stranger old life insurance, and is not allowed. They used to do STOLI. And technically there are some ways around that with unscrupulous agents. But so, for example, Miss Queen, insurable interest. Your children have insurable interest in you because God forbid something happens to you, there's a financial loss to them. Your husband has an insurable interest because God forbid something happens to you, there's a financial loss. Your children have insurable interest on your husband because if something happens to him, there's a financial loss. You have insurable interest on your husband because if something happens to him, the Black Widow murderers was an example of STOLI, and they killed the insurance to collect. Yes. So another thing would be your children. You actually do have insurable interest in your children. Even though they may not be bringing in an income, you're responsible for them. So you have vicarious liability if they go outside and break a window. God forbid your child died last night, you have to bury them. Like I said, I have an unfortunate situation where a close friend of mine's young child was murdered out here in Connecticut. Money craving, pistol waving, New Haven, outside of Yale. Right? And unfortunately, he sent me the GoFundMe. I do not donate to people's GoFundMe unless I know they were uninsurable, especially when I've had a conversation with them about life insurance. So, before you sit down with me or any other financial professional, and ladies and gentlemen, if you're enjoying the content, make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share, share, share. Lastly, to contribute to channel growth or to schedule an appointment with a licensed financial professional, the links are in the description of this video. Make sure, ladies and gentlemen, you also go follow Prince Pierre. If you're still here, make sure you drop your links. And this is a channel I try to give everybody wrenches, very similar to my man Sheedwe here, because I want you guys to have the ability to go explore other people's channels, right? Each one teach one and we'll all reach one. So we'll all help each other to grow, right? So, David, I wanted to shout out Thomas Love because, like I said, I was at the bank. I spoke to a person about what I do. He was like, oh, well, are you a fiduciary? And I explained to him, I said, well, listen, everybody who's licensed as a financial professional is supposed to be a fiduciary. But, David, you know, and I know how Thomas explained the fiduciary obligation, and it's funny how we fulfill our fiduciary obligation. It's just like people being stunned by the CFP, not knowing you with the CLU have 3 additional courses above the CFP. So you can take the CFP, and if you want to get the designation that David has, CLU, you have to pass your CFP and then go back for 3 more classes. So let's look at how you can look at how much life insurance you need, how much death benefit you need. Like I said, generally you want to look at the rule of thumb. If we go to Google and we say, how long is a generation? A generation is about a 20-year span, right? So if you just want to leave one generation of what is the average annual income for an American? So the average annual income, oh damn, I was higher. So it's 59,000, but the household income is 70,000. So let's just do I'm a fiduciary educator. I help people understand the decisions they've made and the consequences of those decisions and what they can do differently and those consequences. Yes, that's exactly it. So we see that a generation is 20 years and the average income is about 60,000. The average household income is about 71,000. So if we do math and do 70,000, right, times one generation, 20, the average person to leave generational just getting by, meaning that you're not leaving wealth, you're just leaving generational, here's what I make per year, here's my household income. So if I die, because what happens when a person dies is 2 things go away, their presence and their income. This is why it's important to get insurance on a housewife or a house husband. Because not only does their income might have been negligible, but their presence is no longer there. So your house husband ain't there to take out the trash, kill those bugs, protect you from, someone coming in. Your housewife ain't there to, rub your stomach, man, when your stomach is messed up. Intellectual Soapbox, what's up, bruv? Right? Your housewife ain't there to rub your shoulders when you come home from work and you've had a stressful day. Your housewife ain't there to ask you what you want for dinner. Your housewife ain't there to give you a headache because you ask her what you want to eat and she says, I don't know. Let's stop acting like life is honky-dory. Shout out to Husbands United because a lot of this mating, dating, and relationship talk is terrible. I am a married man and I am going to start telling you guys the truth. Yes, it's not perfect, But yes, I love the fact that my wife gets on my nerves from time to time. I get on her nerves too. So now, when you're calculating what it is that you need for insurance, I'm going to close these windows out here for now. I'll open them up again in a second. Uh, so, how much annual income would you like to provide if you were no longer there? So, let's use that stereotypical number. Let's do $71,000. Right? How many years should the income be provided for after you're gone? Excuse me. 20 years. Since that's a generation, and especially in the black community, all we keep hearing is this generational wealth bullshit. How much debt would you like to pay off immediately? Let's see, what is the average household debt in America? $101,000. So we'll go 150,000. No, let's do the number. 101. Stunt 101, right? $101,000. How much would you like to provide for childcare? So, what is the average cost of local college in the US? So, local college or community college is about $13,000 a year, right? Now, let's say public, actually, is what they call it, right? So $37,000 for a 2-year public school, right? Let's go average college tuition for 4 years. $14,000 a year for a public that's an in-state school. Most colleges, however, are private. So a private 4-year is about $43,000 a year. So let's say there's how much would you like to pay for childcare? Okay, so we know that college is about, we'll say $45,000 a year. How much is childcare a month? Says about $14,000 a year, or $11.57 a month. So let's say you got 3 kids at $14,000 a year. So that's 14, 28, what, $36,000? Or $42,000, I'm sorry. So let's just do 40,000, right? Next. And how many children require childcare? Again, we got 3 kids, right? So let's say this one is 15 and we want to go to, again, private school, and we're going to add another child. This child is 10 and we want to go to private school, and we're going to, because everybody wants their kid to go to the best schools in the world, right? Again, private school, right? Next. How much would you like to set aside for an emergency fund? So an emergency fund is usually 3 to 6 months, generally 6 to 12 months, to be honest, of your monthly expenses. So I'd say if your expenses are, in this situation, $10,000 a month, let's do $120,000 of emergency savings. How much personal life insurance do you already have? Right? Economically whipped out, exactly. Right? So let's say most people will have from their job life insurance is usually 1 to 3 times your annual salary. So if your annual salary is 70,000, let's just say it's double. Let's just say it's a 200,000 policy. Let's just be even numbers and say you have $250,000 of death benefit. Because most of my clients already have life insurance. Okay, so your income replacement is $1.1 million. Your debt to pay off is $101,000. Child care $40,000. College funding $866,000. Emergency fund of $120,000. Burial costs, which I did not put in there, so I don't know where Lincoln Heritage keeps saying the funeral is only $8,000. This says the average funeral is $20,000. And your current insurance of $250,000, you're still needing $2 million worth of death benefit. This is where a term life insurance policy comes into play, because it gets very expensive to buy whole life at a $2 million death benefit, especially when you factor in most people don't have that preferred plus health that I showed you. Most people, when they quote you online, they're going to give you the absolute cheapest rate possible. They bait and switch you. So you sit there and you're like, man, for $1 million death benefit, all it is $13 a month. Meanwhile, when you take the physical and health exam, it's actually $13 a day. All right? Like it says, economically whipped. Right? It happens. Now I'm going to go to the other calculator, the human life value calculator. This is generally what husbands want to use. Yes, standard is standard for a reason. And David, that's generally why I quote standard or illustrate standard. I don't do any of that. I did it here, Super Preferred Plus, because I was on Facebook with someone and he showed me an illustration. This was actually on my Primerica post, and he was like, oh, I got a female with a $2 million policy for, I think was like $86 a month. And I said, for a $2 million death benefit, a 36-year-old female, that's actually a good price. However, I believe that everyone has the right to learn how much the maximum the insurance company will issue. I've so tried to get a lot of my clients to do that. I'm like, listen, I understand it says $30,000 a month. We're just trying to apply for the most that they can get you. I understand your budget is $75, but if we apply for a bazillion and then you find out that a bazillion is actually cheaper than what you thought, and you're like, well, I may want to go ahead and spend $500 to get a bazillion dollars worth of coverage, it makes sense to already have applied for and gone through the scrutinization for the maximum you can get. So let's take a look at the life insurance, the human life value calculator. So again, let's say this guy makes $75,000 a year, right? We're going to leave him in the 25% tax bracket, though he should probably be in the 30. Oh yeah, we'll leave him at the 25. Let's say you've got $100,000 in savings. Most Americans don't. Let's say you've got $7,500 in savings. Most Americans don't have that, but let's go. Exactly. It's always easier to apply high and go lower than apply low and try to increase it. Years until retirement. So let's say the woman is 36. Let's say the husband is 40. Since you were born after 1967, full retirement age for us is going to be 70. So you at least 70. Right? So 30 years until retirement. Let's say he's already got $250,000 worth of life insurance. And let's say the other assets is equity in your home, which is not existence if you have a mortgage, but let's use it anyway. Let's say you have $100,000 of equity in your home. And let's go next. So it says here your human life value is $3,005,407.74. Minus your resources, your $7,500 in savings, your $250,000 death benefit of life insurance, and your $100,000 worth of equity in your house. $357,500 is your total resources. So you think, oh, I'm good. Meanwhile, if you die, sir, you left your family void $2.6 million. And now your wife, if she was a housewife, has to go and get back on the market, learn how to get job skills, learn how to manage dealing with the kids, dealing with the household, taking out the trash, killing the bugs, possibly dating again, getting over the grief of losing you, and all that. David, by the way, let me see if I can show you here. Join Life Happens. No. I want to see if they have where's the Taylor method? Resources. About our team. Let me see if they, I don't know if they still endorse the Taylor method up here, but they had a selfie Taylor up here. I actually need to sign into my selfie Taylor method. All right. Well, any rate. So also she says, is that what you want to have happen? Exactly, ladies and gentlemen. That's not what you want to have. You can come here and you know what? While I'm at it, let me go to Dave's blog. Let me see if I can find that here. I can't get to it from here. Let me go through YouTube actually and click the link. Because while I'm at it, I want to... Oh, Women in Linux is on. Let me go say salute to them. I always salute my young ladies. Let me hit them with a like. Wow, and let me hit them with a salute. All right. And now let me go to mine. Someone says they have a 401k right there. Oh, she's reading from Investopedia. So next, I'm actually going to go do some conversations on tax code. Because a lot of people don't know 401k is not a product, it's a tax code. 457 is not a product, it's a tax code. 72E is not a product, code. All right? The only reason I came here... Yeah, Chance, no doubt, brother. I want to go to David's... no, that's Investopedia. I don't want Investopedia. All right, let's click here. So I can close that off. Hey, look what we have here. David Kinder, RFC, CHFC, CLU, the tax-exempt wealth guy, right? So he does do some ranting here. Fiduciary advice and advisors. So the reason I'm doing this is because quid pro quo, right? But this is a great article he has here. Why haven't my other advisors heard about certain things? How are you compensated is another question. Remember, I'm going to do that. I'm also going to do something on the tax code. So he's actually got a great article here about how to choose a financial advisor. When I do my videos on tax code, there'll probably be pre-records, but I'm going to be talking about stuff like IRC 72E, 72U, 72T, 72Q, 101A, 101J, 101G, 7702, 2306, 401K, 401A, 457B, 403B. These are all tax codes you Americans think are products. But as you'll see here, David Kinder is a wealth of knowledge. And he's telling you here how to choose a financial advisor. This is super important. Yes, I'm a salesperson. Who do I want you to choose above everyone else? Me. Because that's how I make my money. So, yes, I want you to choose me. I don't want you to choose David. I want you to choose me. Even though I got nothing but love for David, we're both salespeople. Glenn Ross, always be closing. I always want you to choose me over everybody else. And I'm going to tell you, I'm the absolute best. The reality is, I may not be the best advisor for you. And as a quality advisor, it's on me as the advisor to understand both of our styles. This is actually something, David, that I learned from the CRC, because it's best that if a client that you're in the process of onboarding, you want to make sure that, hey, listen, Mr. or Mrs. Client, you don't quite fit with me and my style. You have a different style. I have other advisors I can let you work with. Like I said, I curse, spit, and listen to gangster rap. That turns a lot of people off. There are people who don't curse, don't spit, don't listen to gangster rap. I also listen to heavy metal. There are people who don't listen to heavy metal. But, to each his own. So, moving forward here. So, how to choose a financial advisor. This is a question that I've had in the back of my head for quite some time. And I finally came up with the right answers to this elusive question of how to choose a financial advisor. So again, this is from David's blog. This is David Kinder. He's right here on YouTube with us. Again, make sure you guys go give him a follow. But I'm right here with us too. I've been in this industry for nearly 20 years now, and I've met all kinds of great advisors from varying business models, markets, specializations, designations, association memberships, and more. I also know there are literal criminals out there. Madoff, Wall Street Trapper, Cesar Pena, DJ Envy, just to name a few, who will prey upon those who fall for their pitch. Jordan Belfort. For the purpose of this article, I'm using the term advisor interchangeably, regardless of licensing. Technically, the term financial advisor is not a regulated term, but many firms self-regulate it to mean those who hold a given investment license. But for this article, I will use advisor generically. And thankfully, David, I noticed a lot of Just Life licensed people are now able to call themselves a financial advisor again. The industry, the reason they took financial advisor was because stockbrokers, who some will call the scum of the earth, you didn't hear that from me, needed to be looked at nicer. And so Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley and Smith, Barney, and Dean Winter, which are all Goldman Sachs now, and Lehman Brothers and AIG and all these huge, and Prudential, all these humongous firms, and UBS rallied so that insurance guys, because when I was an insurance guy at Mutual of Omaha, I was right there next to the nice. I used to get coffee with Jim Kramer all the time. Blah, 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 blah. Sell. All the big hedge fund guys. I was right there on 100 Broadway. So, let me start with things that don't matter. Licensing. Wait, hear me out. What I mean is that the advisor you are working with should be licensed to deliver on what they do. Licensing is a function of a mode of business, not a test of competence, skill, knowledge, or ethics. By the way, being licensed in multiple states isn't a factor either, regardless of insurance, securities, or both. Again, it's simply a mode of business, not an endorsement or a test of the validity of the advisor. So this is why someone like Wall Street Trapper will take it off and say, hey, you don't need the license. There are reasons that the license matter. Now, yes, just because someone is licensed does not mean that they by all means know what the fuck they're doing. It does not. Does it mean that they'll be ethical? It does not. What it does mean is if they aren't ethical and they screw you, you have some form of recourse. So let's continue. Compensation and fiduciary duty. So whether an advisor is compensated by charging the client fees or earning commissions is truly immaterial to the right advisor. Compensation is a factor, but it's a side factor compared to how to help you achieve your financial objectives. I say this very deliberately. Why? Because there's a great marketing message out there that those with the Series 65 or 7 and 66 have a higher fiduciary standard because of the Investment Advisors Act of 1940, and that they have our clients' best interest at heart, because when we do better, you do better, which is BS, because that's why they charge 2 and 20 fees. Quite frankly, I could earn more by being a fiduciary over the long term than doing what I do. However, I love the impact of the work I do, and I get paid quite handsomely for doing it as well. And yes, I can prove it and compare it to a traditional method of wealth management. And not only will I earn very well, but the client will be better off in many ways. So like I said, ladies and gentlemen, David is definitely one of my mentors. We don't work together in the same company. We don't work together we might have some of the same carriers, but for all intents and purposes, technically he and I are competition. However, when you get into higher levels of these fields, you're no longer competition, you're more or less collaborators, because he understands, listen, there's a niche market that Alonzo has access to that I'll never be able to reach. There's a niche market that I have access to that Alonzo will never be able to reach. However, there's a cross-pollination. Some of the people that I can reach that Alonzo might never be able to reach might listen to Alonzo, hear something he says, and then want to turn around and ask me about it. And if me and Alonzo are having those conversations and he said something a certain way, I can ask him, hey, what did you mean when you said ABC, XYZ? Oh, I meant this, that, and a third. And very similar. Just like there are people who are on my radar who may never do business with David, but they're apt to do business with me. But you may go over and listen to David, and he may say something that you may not understand. You come over to me, and me and David have that conversation. I understand what he meant by it, and now I'm able to advise you, the client. So generally, the high-level producers aren't competing against each other. They're collaborating. Now, that doesn't mean that you won't hear us bash another company or an agent, because we're still human. But other things that don't matter. Testimonials. I have people ask me about testimonials all the time. I have nothing but 5-star reviews on my Google My Business. 4 of those people I've never done business with, and they still left me a 5-star review. I've not transacted. I've interacted with them as far as business, but for one reason or another, business never transacted. That's fine. That happens. So, unless the testimonial comes from someone you personally know, especially if you're introduced to the advisor, it's just marketing. Testimonials are hard or even impossible to verify. So, when you have guys who have, their options and stock and Forex trading classes, and they're giving you testimonials, those can be bought. Just like if you look at the Better Business Bureau, that can be bought. That's not what you want to look at when you're looking at an insurance company. You want to look at their financial strength. I'm going back and forth between David's blog and my own words. And thank you, David, for putting this stuff out. I know you don't mind me using it because it gets you out there more often as well, too. So, they're just nice words. Unless I can verify them, and it's strange for me to say this, but the harder the advisor is trying to win me over, the less I am to trust the words on their site. 3 major exceptions: LinkedIn, handwritten notes, and video testimonials. If you look up your advisor on LinkedIn and see testimonials or recommendations posted there, that's awesome. That's because they are from verified LinkedIn profiles putting their own LinkedIn profile to those words. However, not every advisor can do this, and that's largely dependent on their business model and the compliance requirements for those with that business model. Handwritten notes are just classy, and especially if they're on a company's letterhead. They are a great way to show appreciation and a testament to their advisor. They are great to use in having a conversation on who else needs to hear about the work I do. Video testimonials, when their full name is used, can be great too. I have one from an author, economist, and a PBS presenter, Tom Hegna. It's priceless and valuable to me. I don't know if he's ever done that for anyone else either. I didn't ask him, nor did I compensate him for it. I'd love to get more. Designations. Generally speaking, those who hold designations have a higher education and skill level than those who do not. It's just like anything. When you see John Smith, ABC, XYZ, once you see a person with letters behind their name, you know they've gone deeper into the study of what they've done. This is why you just went, IARFC. The CRC is through Infree. This is why I pursue the designations I hold. However, I have met and known some exceptional advisors who have no designations at all. So designations is not the ultimate test, but it is nice to have as a reassurance that the advisor you're working with has invested in their career and in their ability to service their clients. Industry association memberships. I am a member of 2 industry associations, the IARFC, the International Association of Registered Financial Consultants, which is kind of a cult, and the NAIFA, the National Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors. I am a member in order to accelerate my knowledge, network with other professionals, and other professional purposes. While all good associations have a code of ethics that all members pledge to follow, it is still largely immaterial to the actual advisor and client relationship. So what does matter? Let me just check the chat here. Okay. So what does matter? I believe there are just 2 factors that matter above all else. And of these 2, one is far more important than the other. Factor number 1, are they doing this for you or to you? I see so many people who spread the gospel about someone who's doing something to them, not for them. And then they call me a hater when I go and I stomp on their parade. Yes, because they're doing it to you, not for you. Prime example, black men will be able to understand this very easily. When you go to the barber shop and you ask for a specific haircut and he doesn't cut it exactly the way you want it because he is used to cutting a certain way. Well, that's how you end up no longer being my barber. Because I like my fade this specific type of way. If you're not going to fade it that way, I'll go to the next guy. Because you're doing it to me, not for me. And I pay very well to my barbers. I go in, I drop $50 like it's nothing, and I give a tip. So, we can always tell when someone is acting out of their own interest or acting on your behalf. This is not a test of one's licensing. In essence, it is the test of the advisor's character. In my opinion, if your advisor feels the need to say any of the following, trust me, I have a Series 65. Trust me, I'm a insert designation here. Trust me, I'm a member of insert association here. Or trust me, I'm a insert religious affiliation here. Don't trust them. Trust me, I'm an asshole. Now I would trust that person. Is there a more obvious way to tell rather than just how you feel? I believe so. When the advisor also points out the negatives of their own plan recommendations to you, yet how they have mitigated these points or how they aren't or shouldn't be a factor is a great sign that you're working with an advisor who is looking at everything from as many angles as possible. Let me tell you another reason you want to look out for an agent who's looking out for you. Because we are salespeople. So as a salesperson, we're always going to be looking out for us. But the way that I look out for me is, again, if I look out for you in such a way that you're extremely happy, you'll do one of three things, or you may do all three. Number one, you'll likely invest more money into the plan that I'm explaining to you. So how does that help me? Because if I'm paid, I'm a fee-based advisor. So I do charge a fee, but I also collect a commission from the product I sell. Right? Now, if you put more money in, the more money you put in, the higher my commission goes. Number two, you will do a testimonial and you will tell other people about me. Hey, listen, I got this insurance guy I work with. Number three, you'll do the ultimate and you will introduce other people to me. I have a client who introduces me to a lot of his friends in the entertainment industry because I did such a good job for him. So there is no such thing as a perfect plan. Every plan, product, and strategy has its positives and negatives. The positives need to help you accomplish your objectives, while the negatives need to be factored in, disclosed, and ideally mitigated. A note regarding agents and offering insurance contracts. Insurance can be a rather complicated matter, and it's not easy for consumers to understand. Many of today's illustrations, well, that can be dozens of pages. And most agents don't even understand them, which is why you have a lot of agents who run around and think simply selling an IUL is infinite banking. Now, again, just because it's an IUL does not mean that it's infinite banking. Can you use an IUL to create infinite banking? Yes. But regarding insurance contracts such as cash value life insurance and annuity contracts, look for an illustration that will deliver on what they are talking about. Now, I'm not trying to teach the public how to analyze an insurance illustration. However, you do want to see how the contract can deliver on what the agent is promising. So with cash value life insurance, you want to look for loans and or withdrawal schedule incorporated in the official illustration, not a secondary agent-created document. I've created many of these, but they always reference an official illustration. It is a state and national requirement by all state insurance departments and the NAIC, National Association of Insurance Commissioners, that all cash value policies are sold with an illustration and a current assumption. This is very important. Why? Well, if an underfunded policy is promised to offer retirement cash flow, well, I've seen these break even in year 22 to 23. There is no way an underfunded contract will deliver on a retirement cash flow promise in an attractive manner. And this is why people like Dave Ramsey, Sue Zorman, and Primerica agents are able to destroy permanent life illustrations. Because one, you, the consumer, don't quite know what the hell you're looking at. Two, the agent who put it together had no clue what they were doing. They were just probably gassed up by some bullshit MLM IMO who promised them 150 bazillion% commission. And they were like, oh yeah, I pay $200 a month. That's $2,400 a year. Yeah, I'm going to get, $5,000 off of this policy. That's why I like street level 50% commission. I think street level as of today, I believe, is 90%. But that's generally what a lot of these LOAs. If you're a general agent, like I just signed a GA contract with Lincoln Financial Group, Dave, they're offering, I think, 125%. So I can give 50% to my agents and keep 75% for myself. What I'm going to do is give 100% to my agents and keep 25% to myself. Underfunded contracts are best used for insurance protection purposes, not for retirement cash flow directly from or against the policy. So if you're going to underfund a policy, in my opinion, just get a term policy. You, as the consumer, don't know that it's being underfunded. Right? And then term, the difficulty with term is certain ages and availability for convertibility. So annuity contracts. An annuity illustration can be far easier to understand. What you want to look for is the promised cash flow when you want it. You want to see if your plan will incur any surrender charges as you begin taking your plan withdrawals. This will be disclosed directly in the illustration. Note, annuities do not have to be sold with an illustration. However, the more complex the annuity, the more I would want an illustration to show me what I can reasonably expect from the contract. David, if you're still here, so I don't do MIGAs. I do FIAs. So MIGAs, for you consumers, is multi-year guaranteed annuity, and FIA is fixed index annuity. I prefer FIAs. I like indexed things. I think mirroring the S&P 500, the Russell 2000, the BNP Paribas, or the Morgan Stanley International, or the Fidelity Index are the best things to do, because it's a little bit of investing without having all that risk tolerance, et cetera, that most Americans don't have, but you can still actually be investing. So enough on those. Factor number 2 is comprehensive competence, bringing a higher level of thinking. So the second factor is the incorporation of various disciplines and subject matter for planning and applying them for your situations. What are the various disciplines to be incorporated? Essentially, it's the topics covered in the CFP curriculum: financial planning process, insurance, income taxation, retirement planning, investment planning, estate planning. Right? Outside of income taxation, most just insurance agents have to deal with all this. And I might put a star on investment planning, because a lot of times insurance agents don't deal with investments. But if you're going to deal with index products like I do, you're going to need to understand securities products, because you need to understand, like I just mentioned, the Russell 2000, the S&P 500, the PNB Paribas, or the BNP Paribas, the Morgan Stanley International. Now, let me be clear. That doesn't mean that every advisor has to work in the same way. I'm not saying that you have a written plan that covers all of these separate things. What I'm saying is that your strategy should incorporate each of these areas, applying each of these areas to how they apply to your situation using their specific business model. Someone is going to ask, can an insurance-only licensed advisor help me with investment planning? Yes. However, they cannot make buy, sell, or holding recommendations, nor risk assessments, asset allocation analysis, or individual securities analysis. This requires not just licensing, but registration with either FINRA or the State Securities Division and or the SEC. So the SIPC as well. And then what is it? The NAASA? So I do make the distinct differentiation between investments and securities. Life insurance and annuities can be investments in the way that we buy them for what they will do, but that does not mean that they're necessarily securities. What can they do? Talk about investments in a general way and this general information being applied to your situation. The more comprehensive the strategy, the more of these six topics will be incorporated into your strategy. So those are my thoughts on two major factors on how to choose a financial advisor. Factor number 1, are they doing this for me or to me? And factor number 2, comprehensive competence, bringing a higher level of thinking. So you'll hear a lot of agents, oh, well, they're not even investment licensed. and then they get stock in a company that has terrible debt. So at any rate, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to get ready to get off of here. Wow, I've been going for almost 2 hours. Time flies when you're having fun, huh? Make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share, share, share. Lastly, to contribute to channel growth or to schedule an appointment with a licensed financial professional, the links are in the description of this video. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, wipe ass. Work in progress every day and see success. Wipe ass. Work in progress every day and see success. Wipe ass. Work in progress every day and see success. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, when people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. Salute. Oh, what happened to my sound system? Did my sound system die? I think it did. There we go. Hold on now. My sound system just challenged me and it turned off my music. Oh shit, it died. Okay, well, I had to do this regular style. There we go. Oh, and don't worry, Miss Queen Sunkiss, I still got that joint coming up for BGS. It's coming. What did my man Kevin Samuels used to say? Shout out to the FBI, feminine, beautiful, and inspirational. Shout out to the CIA, confident and assertive and intelligent. Right? So let's go, fellas. Husbands united. If y'all in here and y'all husbands, remember we bullying single guys into getting married. And I'm not saying we're bullying single guys just for being single. But if you're a man and you're with a woman, we're going to make sure that you marry that woman. Otherwise, what the fuck are you wasting your time for? Forget wasting her time. Stop playing games with these women. I hear especially you brothers. I know brothers in my personal life. Oh man, my girlfriend this, my girlfriend that. How long you been with her? X amount of years. You a homosexual, huh? You just need a place to lay your head, huh? That's why I'm telling Keisha to get life insurance on your bitch ass, homie. Truth hurts. Fuck being humble, like Meek Mill said. Tell him I'm strapped, I don't want to rumble. Rah! Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, wipe ass. Work in progress every day and see success. Work in progress every day and see success. And remember, when people challenge you, they don't challenge you just to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. Salute.